guys, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace. We're the Wandering Ravens.
We are a couple of Americans on a quest to learn everything we can about the UK. Question is, are we in the UK? The answer to that will come at the end of today's video, along with an explanation for why Eric is wearing a new shirt.
Today we are coming at you with part 3 of Americans React to UK Accents. Today's video features a number of Northern Irish and British accents that you all requested in the comment section under our last accents video.
If you have accents that you would like us to react to in part 4, make sure that you drop those comments down below. Put the name of the accent, the name of someone who has that accent, and a link to a video of that accent if possible. Now let's get into it. This is Americans Reacting to UK Accents, part 3.
I was just saying what you said to me back.
First up, we're going to be listening to Michelle Keegan with an example of the Manchester accent.
I find the emotion side and drama easier than comedy.
Wow.
But I really enjoyed doing comedy. I'm from a town in Manchester, very similar way. It's a small community, everyone knows everyone, and I used to work in a pub a few years ago.
Wow. I noticed that when she ended with a Y, it sounded like another vowel, like community.
Comedy.
Comedy.
We would say comedy, whereas she says...
Doing comedy.
The way she says pub is very, very different too.
Pub.
Pub. A strong emphasis on the B.
The B is almost a P as well.
Pub.
Yeah, I think so. When she's saying, I used to work at a pub, the used part just disappears.
I used to work in a pub.
I used to work at a pub.
I used to work at a pub.
That was pretty
That's
good.
that's my impression at a Manchester accent.
Quick note, we know that people from the UK take great pride in their local accents, and so this video series is in no way meant to be taking the piss or to be poking fun at British and Northern Irish accents. This is just us doing our best to understand some of the differences between the different accents that you can find around the UK. Also, it was not our intention to imitate any of these accents. If you go back and you watch part 1 and part 2, you will notice that we don't really take a stab at doing the accents ourselves. But it has been highly requested down in the comments that we start making accent attempts in these videos.
So we're not poking fun, we're simply doing this because it has been highly requested. If you all highly request underneath this video for us to please not try it again, we will listen.
We won't do it again. Next up, we're gonna be listening to Danny Dyer for a little example of the East End accent.
They do it from another room. They're just swearing again, and so they do pull me up on it, and they should pull me up on it. You know, they're well brought up kids, they go to good schools, you know what I mean?
That one was quite different.
That was very distinct from Manchester, for sure.
It sounds to me like he's talking in the back of his mouth.
It does, yeah, and don't take this the wrong way, but it does sound a bit like he's holding something in his mouth while he's talking.
Speaking.
They're just swearing again, and so they do pull me up on it, and they should pull me up on it.
One note, which this isn't really accent, this is more dialect, but the slang phrase, pull me up on it.
Oh.
I haven't heard that before. So I get the gist of what he's saying. It means to hold him accountable on not swearing, but is this East End specific? Because I haven't heard this expression before. If you're from the UK, do you use the phrase, pull me up on it, where you're from?
They go to good schools, you know what I mean?
So I would say school.
School.
But the way he says it, it sounds almost like he's saying skull.
I know, that's what I thought too.
Schools.
They go to good schools.
We need to pick a phrase out of this for us to try to say. I think we should do they go to good schools, you know what I mean.
Okay.
So in our own accent, they go to good schools, you know what I mean.
They go to good schools, you know what I mean.
They go to good schools, you know what I mean.
They go to good schools. You know what I mean? Like that?
That was good. I think that was good. If you have any pointers on how we can do an East End accent, do drop those down below. Also, if you're from the East End, is this a good representation of this accent?
Next up, with an example of the Cornish accent, we are looking at Jethro.
Well, I went in the hospital to see him yesterday. He said they stuff everything up my arsehole. He said, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. So I said to this, could you get a cup of coffee for Travascus? She said, yes, certainly, turnover. Started pouring the coffee. Well, for Christ's sake, he said, stop, for Christ's sake, stop. She said, is it too hot? No, he said, you haven't got any bloody sugar in it.
His accent is a little bit similar to that of Hagrid's in Harry Potter. And Hagrid is Somerset, yeah?
That's Somerset.
So that's kind of close-ish.
That's it.
Geographically more
Down
southern.
there.
Yeah.
Is Cornwall considered part of the, what are they called? The West County accents? And I'm not sure if this is Jethro himself or is indicative of Cornwall accents as a whole, but he does really stumble over his words in a way that is different from the other accents. Mm-hmm. So it does sound a little bit like he's been drinking. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a comedy show, so he may have been.
He may have been, yeah. Like this part here.
So I said to this, could you get a cup of coffee for Travascus? She said, yeah, certainly, turn over.
So the words really bleed right
into each other. They're kind of mashed together.
Yeah.
He sounds blutered.
So you guys will have to let us know, is that indicative of the Cornwall accent, or is this just Jethro being a little bit tipsy doing a set? Between this and the other two accents we've listened to, I think this sounds the strongest like its own unique accent. Mm-hmm. Whereas the other two, if an American like us were to hear them, we would say, that's a British accent. That's an English accent. If we were to hear Jethro speaking, we would probably not know that it was a British accent because it's so unique from the other accents. All right, so now we have to try to imitate part of Jethro's accent.
The only word I heard was asshole.
No, arsehole.
Arsehole.
He said, I'm going to have a cup of coffee.
He said, I'm going to have a cup of coffee.
He said, I'm going to have a cup of coffee.
He said, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Well, what I noticed was that the intonation is very sing-song. It's a very happy, friendly accent. Yeah, because when he says cup, he goes up, and then he starts saying coffee, and then he goes coffee, and he comes back up
You
again.
notice way more of the intricacies of this than I do. Next up, we're going to be listening to fellow YouTuber Sean from the channel Sean with an example of the Edinburgh accent.
When I grew up here in Edinburgh, there was a lot of slang words that I used to use in my everyday speech that I probably do not use very often anymore. I'm going to say exactly how I might have spoke when I was younger, growing up here in Edinburgh. That's well, Sean, what do you do that for, you wee Raj? You're a pure bam. I'm away to get some scran. I'm going to chore that off of you.
The first one, we're able to understand every word.
A lot better, yes, for sure.
And then the second one, I'm gonna have to listen to this at least 3 more times to try to get what he says, because I think he uses a lot of slang in there as well.
Yeah, okay. Do you know what scran is? And am I going to be embarrassed for asking? What is scran?
What is scran?
When I grew up here in Edinburgh, there was a lot of slang words that I used to use in my everyday speech that I probably do not use very often anymore.
So in comparison to the Glaswegian accent that we listened to in part 1 of this series,
2 people sat beside me. They were doing something similar.
I think that Sean's accent here is more representative of that classic Scottish accent that we think of in the United States.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Whereas with the Glaswegian accent, I'm not necessarily sure that an American would be able to pin it, oh, that's Scottish. With this one, I think most Americans would know that it was a Scottish accent.
Accent notes, though. Is there anything about his accent that stands out to you?
The way that he said spoke is different than how I would say it, how I just said it.
So I would say spoke.
Yeah, I spoke.
But he says
how I might have spoke.
How I might have spoke.
Spoke. Another thing too is that, like other British accents, he does roll his R's a bit. When he says grew, instead of I grew up here, which is what I would say, he says when I grew up here.
Grew up.
When I grew up here in Edinburgh.
And then of course at the end of this clip, he has all of this slang, which we have no idea what it means.
I don't know what any of it means, oh dear.
You're a pure bam.
Pure bam?
Bam.
What is bam? Pure
Maybe
bam.
it's like bum. Like you're a butt.
You're a pure bum.
You're a pure bum.
You're a pure bum. Next up, we're going to be listening to Wyn Evans, Go Compare.
Go Compare!
And an example of the Carmarthen accent. As this is a Welsh town name, you guys will have to let me know if I said that correctly.
Probably not.
Carmarthen. Fingers crossed. All right, let's dive into this.
I think I just missed out on that time where it suddenly became fashionable to send your children to Welsh school. Music is such a part of the Welsh culture, strong part of the Welsh culture, and everybody expects, our opera singers to speak Welsh. and I can't.
A couple of words which stand out to me immediately as different from the other accents we've been listening to. One is the word culture. Did you notice that one?
Yes.
I think I saw you react to that. And then another one is fashionable. So first up, let's listen to the word fashionable.
It suddenly became fashionable to send your children to Welsh school. Fashionable.
The way that he blends words together is different. And I wonder what that's called. If you're a linguist, do let us know what that's called. This is kind of like what Jethro did, where he blended a bunch of words together. He's doing this in a slightly different way. So let's listen to that again.
It suddenly became fashionable to send your children to Welsh school.
The other one that really stood out to us was the word culture. So
Welsh culture, strong part of the Welsh culture.
Culture. So we would say culture.
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 I feel like this is us mispronouncing the word, because we're saying culture as if there's an O there, whereas he's pronouncing it like there's a U there. Culture. So I think the Welsh accent wins here as being more proper English than whatever the hell we're speaking.
Next up, we're going to be listening to Colin Morgan with an example of the Armagh accent.
Yeah, Armagh.
Like our mother.
Armagh.
Well, it was something we'd trained at a drama school, and I saw a wonderful dialect coach, Penny Dyer, before starting as well, who had worked on for a lot of theatre productions.
I'm not exactly sure what to make of this accent.
One note is that in comparison to the other accents we've done so far in this video, we have accents where the words are pronounced fully. We have accents kind of like Jethro's, where they're kind of blended together. And then we have this accent, and what Colin Morgan seems to be doing is clipping the words. He's not blending the words together like Jethro, but he is shortening the words nonetheless.
Before starting as well, who had worked on for a lot of theatre productions.
It sounds like he's making words shorter when he speaks. Do you know what I mean?
A little bit. I'm having such trouble with this accent, not really being able to pin any defining attributes on it for myself.
It would be difficult to identify what it is.
I wouldn't, and if I met a second person with the same accent, I wouldn't know that they were from the same place, I don't think either.
Yeah, in comparison to our first video that we did in the series where we covered the Derry and Belfast accents.
An epiphany moment, I feel like you'll have a few of those in your life.
Macaulay Culkin might be divorced and has parents.
I feel like this is a much softer version of both of those.
Yeah, I would say that if I met somebody with this accent, I may not be able to pin them as Northern Irish.
I saw a wonderful dialect coach, Penny Dyer, before starting as well, who had worked on for a lot of theatre productions.
I think one word where that Northern Irish accent does come through stronger is productions. Field productions is what it sounds like he's saying.
For a lot of theatre productions.
No!
This is theatre productions.
For a lot of theatre productions.
Oh, I was thinking the other productions.
Oh, I hear theatre productions.
Theatre?
For a lot of theatre productions.
Yeah, same theatre.
To me, it could be either theatre or the other productions. It's really difficult to tell for me. Real quick, if you haven't already, make sure you click subscribe and whack the notification bell so that you get notified every time we release a new UK accent video. And if you have any recommendations for accents we should include in the next episode in this series, make sure you drop those down below. Now to answer the question, why is Eric wearing a different shirt? In case you guys didn't know this already, we are minimalists, and one aspect of that is that I only own one shirt. And so for the past few months, I have only been wearing one shirt in videos because I only own one shirt. But we did make it a goal on Patreon. We let people know that if we were to hit $500 a month on Patreon, then I would celebrate by buying myself a new shirt. And congratulations to our patrons and to us and to all of you who get to enjoy me in this new shirt. We hit $500 on Patreon this week, and we are so excited. That is such a huge milestone for us. So to each and every one of our patrons, thank you so much. We couldn't do this without you guys. You make creating YouTube videos that much more exciting for us. It is very rewarding. And thank you very much for my new shirt.
How does it look? What do you all think? Will you be glad to see Eric in this new shirt for another year until our next shopping trip?
It may look exciting right now, but yeah, you'll
give it a few thousand videos.
It'll get old quick.
And now to answer that burning question you all have, where are the Wandering Ravens?
Where are we? So in case you're just joining us now, we have been living on the continent since November. We've been in France and in Germany and briefly in the Netherlands, and now we are somewhere else. Where are we? Should we say it on 3?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Northern Ireland!
We're so happy to be here, so thrilled to be here.
We are so excited to be back in the United Kingdom. We haven't been here since June? of 2019?
Yeah, June.
June of 2019. So it's been a long time since last time we were here. And so this is very exciting for us. We plan to make a lot of great videos while we're here. Maybe do a couple of interviews and documentary style videos, vlogs of us exploring different towns and things around the UK. We've been making British culture content videos while all the pandemic and stuff has been happening. But now we finally get to be in the UK and exploring and experiencing British culture and Northern Irish culture for ourselves in person. So if you want to join us for this adventure, make sure you subscribe. Haha.
Yes, again.
In case you can't tell, we're very excited to be here. It genuinely makes us so happy. We cannot... It's very exciting.
Yes.
To say. My Americanness is getting out of hand here.
Yeah, it's getting the better of you. We better stop now.
All right, shall we end this here?
Yes.
Okay, until next time, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace.
We're the Wandering Ravens.
Wiedersehen, pet.
We will see you in the next video. Au revoir.